So yesterday, I talked about Hollywood wanting to blacklist a certain Aquaman starlet, and one of the factors involved in that was the litigation surrounding the subsequent failure of the movie London Fields, where you had allegations of blackmail levied at that certain Aquaman starlet, and so much more. Now, you and I, we're going to discuss this litigation and the disaster that this movie became, and ask yourself, how many times could something like this happen before it ends you totally in Hollywood? Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. Oh man, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And to truly drive home just how bad this movie did and how much that certain Aquaman starlet cost it, this movie was originally allotted at a few $1 million. It ended up going over budget, somewhere between $8 to $12 million all told. And look how much money it rigs in. $433,732. That is a disaster, and then some. Now, additionally, it's one of the worst reviewed movies ever. That's right. It scored a 37% as far as audience rating is concerned, but when it comes to critic rating, get this, it scored a whopping 0%. Not one critic gave this a certified fresh score. And the reviews on this, whoa man, the cinematic equivalent of a sewage truck colliding with a tanker full of gasoline. Yeah, that's not 2 thumbs up at all, baby. Now, if you think that's bad, that's nothing compared to what goes on behind the scenes. Things, they get so contentious and so nasty that the company behind London Fields, they actually bring litigation against that certain Aquaman starlet with complaints for breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, anticipatory breach, and so much more. Now, if you've been keeping up with the current litigation involving JD and that certain Aquaman starlet, well, something that might stand out to you right away. You see these names here involving Billy Bob Thornton, Jim Sturgis? Those names were just some of the names that were weaponized within current litigation. And when I say current litigation, I'm talking UK 2020. I'm talking about Virginia 2022. You can see them listed here, along with the Rocket Man, Leo DiCaprio, James Franco, Channing Tatum, and so many other people. She said, oh, he's paranoid about them. You can see just how far back this stuff goes. Now listen to these accusations and imagine Hollywood investors launching something like this at you. You tell me how long your career can withstand something like this. So this action, it arises from that certain Aquaman starlet's breach of contract and, look at these words here, conspiratorial efforts, conspiring with others to deprive plaintiff of the ability and the right to exploit London Fields, the high-profile 2015 film based upon the celebrated Martin Amis book with the cast, well, you can see all of the names right here. While the inherent tension between actors and directors on one hand and producers on the other is nothing new in Hollywood, the unauthorized and unlawful acts of that certain Aquaman starlet, of Cullen and others, most notably their campaign to damage plaintiff, the pitcher, and the pitcher's investors are perhaps unprecedented. Indeed, as a result of their misconduct, which continues to this day, the very promising pitcher, it remains in limbo, hijacked and placed under a cloud by all of those people that were just named. By the way, when it finally launches, you see how much money that it makes. So again, when you're saying these people damage something, yeah, the damage, it costs millions. Specifically, although the picture was completed by plaintiff after Cullen failed to complete it, accepted into the prestigious and highly selected Toronto International Film Festival in 2015, ready to be marketed, sold, and distributed That Certain Aquaman Starlet's conspiracy, her campaign against the picture, and her contractual breaches, including, they go through a few here. So you have the breach of her confidentiality obligations. Wow, we've seen that happen before, haven't we? Her failure to perform certain acting services, her failure to render required ADR services, and her failure to comply with her publicity contract have damaged the picture, caused substantial harm to the plaintiff, the picture, and the picture's investors. Now, as an example of just how vindictive That Certain Aquaman Starlet supposedly is, they talk about their experience with the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, you know, the Toronto International Film Festival at the time of this movie, that was required to get distribution. They had been selected despite efforts. There had been a lot of problems with the movie, and as they note, as an independent film producer, and as that Aquaman Starlet well knew, the plaintiff and Hanley were reliant upon obtaining distribution for the picture in order to recoup their investment and exhibit the picture. Such distribution would typically come from one of the distributors attending TIFF or another major film festival. Now, consistent with industry norms, plaintiff, like TIFF, expected That Certain Aquaman Starlet, the film star, this is the film star you're talking about, to attend the TIFF and support the picture as she was contractually required to do, and she had been paid to do. That is a huge distinction there, too. Not only was she required to do it by contract, but she had gotten paid to do it. So after the worldwide red carpet premiere, it's set. You have That Certain Aquaman Starlet say, I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to promote this movie at all. In fact, I'm going to go in behind the scenes and I'm going to try to get it removed, which ends up happening. So she ends up rebuffing the plaintiff's request that she attend the TIFF premiere in support of the picture in compliance with her contractual obligations. Worse, not only did she violate these contractual obligations, but as part of a conspiracy with others, she engaged in affirmative efforts to damage plaintiff, thwart the picture's marketing, sale, and distribution. Amongst other things, she advised she would not attend the picture's TIFF premiere or engage in promotion or publicity services in support of the picture. Her refusal to do so was especially glaring and harmful. In fact, that she was actually present at the TIFF, but she was promoting another movie. So she decided to say, I'm not going to do anything with this because, well, I want it to fail. Yeah, I'm going to go out and promote something else. Further, plaintiff is informed and believes, and based thereon, alleges that certain Aquaman Starlet, in concert with others, actively encouraged the TIFF to pull the picture from the festival at the 11th hour, which the TIFF did, thereby creating a maelstrom of poor publicity and word of mouth, the lifeblood of independent films seeking distribution, and damaging, perhaps irreparably, the picture's reputation and sellability. So this, it goes on. You have a lot more that's added to this. This might make an interesting live stream, but you get the idea of how this right here would be a problem for someone in Hollywood, especially considering it goes to their word, it goes to their contractual obligations, and then when you have all of these other things coming together in a perfect storm right now, yeah, you could see how Hollywood might just want to take all of that. They might just want to say, we're going to go do our own thing, and you're not welcome.